So this is a demonstration, not a demonstration, but me explaining how the documentation works. So this would be the README file. A30next is a pipeline. It states what the geomaster does. It states what nomenclator does. It states what thumbtack does. It states what Prevention does. It states what the substance loader does. It states what Umbra does. And the path in the folder where you can find the quick start PDF. Also, the quick start PDF on when the plugin is initialized will load by itself and you will have a preview. Installation with pip is not your concern now, as you will follow standard local installation. Pip is still in the works, it's still in the staging, so the actual pip is not ready. So if you were to use Windows, you would install a30x windows.bat and you would create a30x mac linux.sh. It's for Linux and Mac, but since most people use Windows, I would just install a30x windows.bat. Then, like I said, you can avoid pip. And to register the plugin, you would open up Maya, you would open up the Python terminal, and you would just type this as is. It would find the path where the folders the plugins are installed, the plugin files are installed. It would just load it as a shell. And then if you can't find it, it usually does. And it's not a concern if your folders are custom installed. If it's a custom installation file, then I won't be able to help you. Um, it it assumes that you're having a normal installation. You're using a normal installation. And then if you want to uninstall, rather than, let's say, making it more complicated, you can just use an uninstall script. Once you uninstall, it will uninstall everything except it will not delete the shell. You would have to delete the shell and reinstall using the bat at the top. And you need not check for consistency. That's not a huge problem. And that's pretty much it. Dim it down. What you will do is you would run the bat, you would import it, and once you're done using it, or you can just uninstall using the uninstaller pack. End of story. That's it. That's what the README states. The script called Revention autosave, what it does is, let's say we have a sphere here, any sphere. It could be a ball, it could be a sphere, it could be a planet, it could be Jupiter for all I care. It's not a huge problem. So you will just say I'm in the modeling phase. For one, our ROG stands for rig dev phase, LDV stands for look dev phase, MDO stands for modeling phase, GRM stands for grooming phase, sim stands for simulation phase, ANM stands for animation phase, and the rest is let's say skin, and then the other two are, it depends on how your production standards are set. You can use them as you wish. Um, so I'm going to set a base name for this. Let's say I say Jupiter, and I'm going to set a custom path to my desktop, and my desktop, rather than sessions or anything else, I'm just going to say new folder, and I'm going to name it saying this is, let's say Jupiter underscore MDL. Could be model or anything that you say. And then I'm going to say start autosave. Right. So it saves as a Maya file. Pretty simple. As a Maya file, I'll be demonstrating all of it using Maya ASCII, and as a Maya file, MDL. So that's pretty much it. So right now, put it as rig. I want it to be a model file. So I want it to be done every 1 minute. So hit start. It saved Jupiter MDL V001. Right. And the last save time shows up, and the next save time shows up, and it's going to be in 39 seconds. And once that is done, let's just see. Right, so it's saved as Jupyter model v002.ma. I'd be confused as to where the files are. The files are in Jupyter MDL, and the first one's a mistake, so we could just delete that. I said that on purpose. But as you can see, Jupyter MDL v001, Jupyter MDL v002. Now, if you go into production and you have meetings with the client saying, we need you to set this up in set format. We need you to set this up in a certain way. We have problems with this and that. We need version control. This is version control without complicated software or licensing, based on a script. And you can set this up so that every fourth previous file gets deleted. You wouldn't need 4 versions, anything previous to 4 versions. I'm pretty sure in production that's not a problem. So let's say you can say you put um, Jupiter BASE underscore MDL in every minute. It's going to just save to that desktop file. I mean, to the location that you set, and it's pretty much done. So now that's it. Next up, we have pivot to. Now, this may sound really small, but having the right pivot when you submit your file matters. And having the right pivot, be it a MetaHuman pipeline, a VFX pipeline, or let's say any other pipeline, it matters. Now, when you hand off, there are a couple of things that you check in every single system or every single file, which is a sanity check. Make sure that the UVs are right. Make sure that the topology is right. Make sure you do not have flip faces. Make sure you have abnormal normals. And the final step would be in most production quality control would be you make sure that you have a proper pivot. And fun fact, I had a huge board, a really huge board where I could place thumbtacks and I could pin notes. So I had about 25 to 60 notes when I came in this year, and all I used was thumbtacks. So with the little amount of money I had, I bought thumbtacks. So I named the script thumbtack. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the sphere the exact same way, and we're going to name it. Let's say divisions are 3. So 3 by 3 by 3 is standard division. But now you also have to bear in mind that this is based on the bounding box of said object. And bounding boxes vary. Keep that in mind. That isn't my problem. It's my itself. You're going to draw lines if you want to, or you can just create a grid. Right now, there's a center pivot. I'm going to set divisions to 3. I'm going to create a grid. Now, these anchors, or if you go to the grid, these are all locators that are created, and not ignore that now. But each locator serves as you click on the locator and the pivot is set. This is also based on a previous Maya 3ds Max script that stopped development in 1990. I think it was in 2000. So we're going to create again. And let's say I want the pivot to be at the base, at the root. I'm just going to click there. And voila, you have it. A downside of the script being, while, although, let's try this again. It creates scripts, it does it, but at times it does create a keyframe, and that keyframe will be deleted automatically. I think that's kind of solved as we're not using keyframes anymore. And this is the second version, but the first version did have keyframes. We're going to do the same thing again with lines. Now that you see why it does what it does, now you see how the grid is, now you see the bounding box come into action, now you see clear locators. And if you click here and you just click 4, you can see what's going on. So it still works. The script is still functional. And then if I click on it and then hit 5, so you have a new pivot. And the pivot works. So that's Contact as a script. So for GeoMaster, this script is called GeoMaster. And now, once you have your file save set up, once you have the pivot set up, then you need to check if my topology is good. You need to check if I have non-manifold edges, if I have laminar faces, if I have non-planar faces, if I have UVs that aren't connected together. If I need to check if UVs are within the UDIM. I need to check if there are cross-border UVs, like I said, within the UDIM itself. I need to check if there are missing UVs. All of these with an output log that says, just click run diagnostics, and you're pretty much done. So since this is a basic sphere and everything runs, everything is fixed, but there is an error here. Now, you might think, why the error, right? So it's a dual-edged sword. One might want it, one might not want it, but every asset in the pipeline and every asset in a scene that is being created needs a shader assigned. And now, if you think about it, every single substance file, in Substance Painter, you need a shader assigned to make sure. Is the way I do it. I assign a shader and I say that part goes there. Or if I need to assign, if I need to assign a specific face per shader, then I just assign a specific shader so I can just texture there, and then I don't have to worry about creating mask. So default shader, just like there, one there. And construction history, because we do have construction history, like previously we did change the pivot point and we did try to rotate. And everything else is just fine. And then you've got your output log so that you can just check and verify every single time. So that's GeoMaster. When it comes to color spaces, you're going to select the object. And on selecting the object, since this is an Arnold pipeline, and every single Maya renderer, we can modify the script to support RenderMan. We can modify the script to support V-Ray, and we can also modify the script. We don't have to modify the script. It's basically set up for Arnold. Um, so I am pretty sure any production standard, any company will be using Arnold 2023 plus. So versions that have come bundled with Arnold with Maya 2023 plus will be able to use the script. I'm pretty sure we won't be having problems with them because they did do a thing where they played with the standard surface shader and they played with the Arnold standard surface shader. So that has been corrected using the script. So now you have the polysphere. You're going to load the diffuse, the roughness, the metalness, and the normalness, and you're just going to click apply textures, and they're going to load with the exact color space. For example, if you were to add a roughness file, it would automatically set the color to correct. like set it to the exact color space. Even you could do it with faces, where you could just assign existing material. You can go to Lambert, you can just select the face mode, and you select, and you can select, and you can see that it has been assigned to just set face, where you don't really need to worry much. Uh, so that's that. So that's pretty much it. So now I want you to try and swap layers, swap scripts, modify it, make it easier. Try using it on both. You can use it in MetaHuman. I tried it on MetaHuman. I've tried it on VFX assets. I've tried it on regular assets. I've tried it on rigs. It doesn't break the rig, unfortunately. It. I've tried it on everything else as well. Um, so here's the claim. A30 Next is not just pipeline scripts. These are scripts made available open source and free in the GitHub repo, and they are quite good. I believe they're good. At least, hopefully, they're good, do good, and they will outlive your problems, which means they are the solution to your problems in every way. And hope that helps. Thank you for watching.